We're here, we've just wrapped up the 2025 Australia-Africa Dialogue here at Melbourne Business School, and I've now got the absolute pleasure of being joined by Her Excellency, the Ambassador of Mauritius here in Australia, all the way from Canberra for today's event, and the wonderful Fleming, who's the Honorary Consul for Mauritius here in Melbourne and co-organiser of the event for many, many years. It just gets bigger and better every year. But I'll start with you, Your Excellency. You've only just been into Australia just over a month. You must be so impressed about today's event.
Very much so, and also very proud that this is my honorary consul, that she has something to do with it. And actually, I've learned a lot about what's happening here in Australia and with Africa. And I think this is a great step towards knowing what's going on in Africa. And I was happy to have the opportunity to explain that Mauritius belongs to Africa. We are a small island in the middle of the Indian Ocean. From the very start, we've identified ourselves with Africa, and I'm really happy to be here today to have been together with so many African entrepreneurs and to listen to what they had to say. Yeah, well, you're a wonderful presentation and speech, and you educated all of us on that background and history of Mauritius. Really? Yeah, I think so. Well, for me, I can say it for myself personally, and there is a bit of an Australian colloquialism that, well, when we say people punch above their weight. So you talked about the Mauritian population being part of Africa. I think that's a really good analogy. We're really impressed with innovation, the education side. You had so many great things that it's not just tourism. There's so much economic diversity across Mauritius as well. Well, we had to do something. You know, we don't have any diamonds. We don't have any rare earth. We just have the ocean, and we have a people. And the important thing was that our Prime Minister recognized immediately that education was absolutely necessary because our capital was actually our people, to train them so that they could really take part in the development of the country. Yeah, wonderful. Well, Di, I'd love to bring you in here. You must be so proud of today's event. It was amazing. Couldn't cram enough into it because we, as I said to Catherine, I think we all agree we need a much bigger event, at least a day, if not more probably.
Yes, it was tricky. I must admit there are moments where my heart was in my mouth simply because of timing, but I believe the content that came out of tonight's speakers, the diversity of innovation of our diaspora is quite extraordinary. We brought people together tonight that I think will ensure a very, very strong future in terms of Australia-Africa engagement. I think one of our visions for the future now is to further democratise the people who are in attendance in terms of demonstrating our understanding of each other's continents. I think it's also reminded us that we need to collaborate, and we are. It also means that it's time for us to really take some strong recommendations and go forward. Dialogue is wonderful, but now we need further action, and we do have a dream about a trade mission that will bring the continents together.
Well, I think that was a common theme of many of the speakers tonight, was that, and Bruce wrapped it up really beautifully, saying that there was, the energy is built so much from last year's dialogue that in the space of just say 12 months, that there is a lot of momentum, even though it's been 12 months apart. And I think, as you pointed out, Di, as you're part of your wrap up, is that we can't wait for another 12 months. Action has to start now and continue to progress, week after week.
No, I agree. And I just feel that the tide has turned, and the fact that we were able to be very honest about aid. We know there's a place for aid, but we're celebrating, and we celebrated tonight, the place of enterprise in our development and in our understanding. I'm going to go home tonight feeling really happy about what I've learned and happy about the future.
Yeah, well done. Congratulations. Now, finally, Your Excellency, I think it was you who said that when you landed in Australia, you were a little bit surprised with the lack of awareness of Africa. Was that yourself, or was that one of the other speakers?
I don't know if I said it, but I agree.
Yeah.
There is this lack of, well, I must say interest, but I understand it. But I think Australia has historically been more orientated towards the Pacific, but the time is now. I mean, things change with time, just like we did in Mauritius, where everybody was looking at Europe, my Prime Minister looked at Africa. Now it's time for Australia to look at Africa, not to give, but there's a mutual interest there, which is so obvious, but which is not happening because of lack of information. And I think this is why I'm so happy that Di and all these people here have put something like this together. I think all that's lacking now is getting the information together and passing it on.
Great. Well, thank you. And I know that yourself and the other people from Canberra, including the Kenyan ambassador as well, are great supporters and champions of really reinvigorating and invigorating that dialogue into action. So congratulations. Thank you so much for being part of the event today.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Welcome to Australia, a month
Thank
in.
you. Thank you very
And we
much.
look forward to seeing many of the great work that you do on the ground here in Australia.
Thank you very much, Lawrence. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise. Di, love to speak to you again. Look forward to chatting to you and seeing all the action that you do put into place over the next couple of months as well. Congratulations again to you and Catherine for putting on a fantastic event.
It's been a pleasure, and I think Her Excellency has now given us our tagline for the future. The time is now.
Yep, well said. Great way to wrap it up. Thank you both.